Hey, beautifuls. I'm just getting over a cold, and so I haven't been sleeping very well. So if I look a little tired, you'll know why. Um, so I haven't made a video in a while, and I was looking through Instagram, and I follow a few people, Raw Tropical Living and Raw Food Romance, and Tanny Raw, just to kind of keep myself on track, I guess. But Raw Food Romance, Alyssa is awesome if you're looking into any kind of raw food, or if you're looking for more simple eats. She has recipe books and stuff like that. But she shared something on Instagram that I wanted to share with you because I think it's important to understand your why, why you're doing this. But if you haven't really thought of a why, or you are kind of playing around with should you be plant-based, should you not be plant-based, things like that. Like, I want to talk about that today. So let me first share what she wrote on Instagram. She said, let's say a version of you comes to the front door one day. This version of you is from 10 years in the future. They looked aged for their time, overweight, sluggish, out of breath, and possibly with skin issues or dull energy. You answer the door to greet them. They explain how they were diagnosed with X disease. Their joints have been so inflamed and the joy has left their life. They deal with stress improperly and are constantly fighting binges and food addiction. You fearfully ask, how can I avoid this? They reply, stop eating X foods that you know that you shouldn't eat. Start eating a clean, high raw, whole foods, low fat, vegan diet. Start going to bed on time, move your body daily. Clean out toxic relationships or jobs and start practicing true self-love. Meditate, stretch. Please avoid this. A few minutes later, you get another knock on the door. It's a different version of you from 10 years in the future. They are fit and fabulous, full of energy and clear skin, vitality. They may even look younger than you do today, or at least not aged very much. You excitedly ask, how do I achieve this? To which they reply, stop eating X foods that you already know you shouldn't eat. Start eating a clean, high raw, whole foods, low fat, vegan diet. Start going to bed on time, move your body daily, clean out toxic relationships or jobs, and start practicing true self-love. Meditate, stretch. Please achieve this. Same answer for either outcome. You know what to do. You are powerful. Do what you want to be in the future. So I just thought I would share that because I think a lot of people have a hard time looking forward into the future to see what an outcome could be. But honestly, when I first started my journey, I already knew what my outcome was going to be because I could see it in my parents. Diabetes, my dad has toes off on one foot, has a foot cut off already up to his knee, severe heart disease in him. My mom has diabetes right now as well. So like I already knew my outcome was going to be that should I continue on the same path, eating the same stuff that they were eating. And I could already feel it in my joints and the amount of bloating, the inflammation that was in my bowels. I mean, when you're pooping a pencil like this thick, like that's not okay. That's severe inflammation. And I was only going like maybe a couple times a week. So like I could see that, but it's hard sometimes to visualize that for a future for you because people are so caught up in, well, my friends are doing this. I want to eat the same way they do. I want. But you have to really ask yourself, do you want the outcome that is going to produce? I mean, look at friends, look at family, and see the level of disease that is progressing in their body and decide, do you want that for yourself? And that's kind of what I had to do for me is, do I want to continue being couch bound, have to call into work because I couldn't get off the couch to go in, being so tired, so sore that I couldn't even function, not being the mom that I could be? Did I want to progress down the same path of unwell, unhealth, that my family was progressing down, that my friends were progressing down? And did I want the outcome of even their parents? And I found for me, the answer was no, not even close. And so it took a lot for me to change that. And I'm not saying it's going to happen overnight, but it is a one step at a time. I heard last night from some people that, they had quit their diet. And for me, you're going to slip, but you never quit. And the next day is a whole new day. So it's all about your choices that day. Are you choosing to slip, and how far will you let yourself slip before you get back on the wagon? That's kind of the way that these yo-yo diets work, is you try it for a while, it either works or doesn't work. So let's say it does work, then all of a sudden, you're like, hey, I'm fit, I'm fabulous, I'm gonna go back to eating the stuff that I was eating. Or you slowly slide away, and then pretty soon you're eating everything you were before. And so it's not that these diets don't work, it's you need to find something you can do for the rest of your life. And you have to decide on what level you want to be for the rest of your life. Because, especially if you have food addiction, if you allow certain foods back in, it's a very slippery slope. And pretty soon you're just sliding all the way to the other side. So for some people, it has to be very extreme. And this is what I'm finding for me, is I have to be either extreme healthy, or I have to be extreme unhealthy. There's no middle, there's no balance for me. There's no middle ground where I can eat some unhealthy foods and some healthy foods. It just doesn't work that way. Eating extreme health, for me, is vital to keep my body functioning the way it is, and I just have to eat that way the rest of my life. Now, I know a lot of people aren't willing to do that, and that's what stops them from achieving the optimum health. If you're not willing to do things differently, or not eat the same food as somebody else in your family, or stop going out to eat at restaurants because there's no healthy options, if you're willing to compromise all the time, there's always an excuse for not eating healthy. Birthday parties, people inviting you out to dinner, all those kind of things. There'll be an excuse so much that pretty soon it's all excuses. And so there's a group of us who we know that we can't slip too much, otherwise we're going to slip really fast and really far. And so, it is a journey. It's learning about yourself. I didn't come upon all my knowledge overnight. I actually binge watched tons of YouTube, tons and tons, like months worth of YouTube as I didn't do it before, but as I was learning, I was changing and changing and changing. And so somebody comes to me now and they're like, I don't even know where to start. Well, start with YouTube. Like, that is critical. You will find so much knowledge on there from all the doctors that eat this way. You will find people who eat this way who can help you kind of navigate everything. But it really comes down to your choice. So, you might be struggling with a why, but if you look at the disease progression throughout your family, that could be your why. And that's my why. It's more of a health reason. It's not really for animal ethical type of reason, although that kind of came along, as I went. But yeah, it really is a choice, and you have to actually choose and yet let your yes be yes and your no's be no, and don't be in anywhere gray in the middle. Because I found that, and even Lissa says the same thing, the more you say no to someone that you don't want something, the less they'll ask you. But if you slip, or you eat it once in a while when they ask you, then they'll constantly ask you, and it gets harder and harder to say no. I'm sorry this video's all over the place, but I had to stop in the middle, and so I lost my mega train of thought. But really, your choices matter. Every single day, every single choice matter, and you matter enough to make those choices to help you. A lot of people, there's a big thing about, me, but in this case, it really is you, because if there isn't a you, there is nobody else. So these home health care workers, nurses, doctors, they don't take care of themselves. And then, of course, they can't help anybody else after a while. And that is critical. You have to be able to help other people, especially along this journey. And if somebody comes to you, you want to be in optimal health so that you can help them achieve the same thing and help them step by step. And so, it comes down to a choice. Do you really, and you have to ask yourself seriously, do you really want this? Imagine yourself in the future. What do you want to see for you? And how do you get there? What steps do you need to take to get there? If that second doorbell rang and a slim, vibrant, healthy person stops there and it's you in 10 years, wouldn't you want that for yourself? And you really have to ask yourself, do you? Because it is really a difficult road, which is why YouTube and Facebook and Instagram, were vital for me. I could find friends that weren't local. So, even though my family doesn't eat the same way I do, and my friends, some of them do, most of them don't, and my extended family doesn't eat this way. So, I have that support system. And encouragement. Tanny Raw is really great on encouragement, and I love her to death. I mean, she's so encouraging on everything. And Lissa has so many awesome recipes that it is easy to find something to eat. Raw Tropical Living, he's just kind of his name's Jack, and I love him. He's not very stickler on labels, so if you want a starting point, he's it. You just start. If you eat bananas the whole day, whatever, it's a start. You just have to start, and that's the thing. People think it's so difficult, but you know what's healthy and you know what's not healthy. And you can tell me what's healthy if I asked you right now. So grab some of those things and eat those things, and don't eat the things that you know are super unhealthy. And that's a start. It just takes a day of figuring out what you want from your life, which person you want to come to your door in 10 years, and decide, I'm going to do whatever it takes to get to that point. And whatever it takes is a hard road, but there are people if you hunt for them, and there are ways to do it if you search for them. But it is work, and people aren't going to give you a magic pill for that. So I just hope that this video encouraged you to look into the future, decide what you want for yourself. Like she said, in your work even, what kind of friends do you want? What type of lifestyle do you want? And work towards that. Make mini goals. I don't make resolutions over the new year. I make little goals that turn into big goals. So, start there. How do I obtain optimal health? What will it take? Well, it might take you planning out your dinner times every single time. And so, plan out your dinners, coordinate them with maybe something that you can make for your family. So if your family still is eating meat and you're opting not to eat any meat, if you make a spaghetti for them, you can still eat everything in it. Just put the meat in later afterwards and pull yours out first. Same meal, same prep time. You can eat it separately. Make smoothies in the morning, and breakfast and lunch are the easiest meals to switch over. So switch over those first. It's just little steps in finding out what works for you. And by binge watching the YouTube, you will understand what people are eating. Maddie Limburger is good. High Carb Hannah is good. They all have simple meals that are cooked as well. So if you don't want to go totally raw, but look at the totally raw people too, because they'll have lunch ideas, or they'll have breakfast ideas, or they might have a dinner idea that, you really like. But you have to look kind of outside the box that you want to be in, and don't limit yourself to a box, I guess, because there are days when I will eat just bananas, and that doesn't have all my nutrients in it for the day. It doesn't have all my fat in it. It isn't an 80-10-10. But you know what? Some days you just kind of need to reset, and bananas are it for me. I always eat the same thing pretty much for breakfast and lunch because it's easy for me to make those things in the morning and be able to still get out the door on time. I always bring bananas with me for snacks. It really is super simple to eat this way. Even if you ate a salad every single meal, or you ate oatmeal for every meal, if you ate berries for every meal, that's a start. And you can figure out the rest as you watch YouTube and as you start learning more and more information. Some people that you can watch are Dr. Esselstyn, Dr. Greger, Dr. Furman, Dr. McDougall. Chef AJ has a lot of recipes and talks about food addiction on her Weight Loss Wednesdays. Dr. Goldhammer, Dr. Clapper. Gosh, there's just so many. Once you hit plant-based, whole food plant-based, if you just type that into YouTube, like, you'll be set. And one video will lead to another and another and another and another and another. And pretty soon you start accumulating all of this knowledge, and then people start looking to you. So just start, visualize for the future. Which door would you want that person to come in? You in 10 years, which one's knocking on your door? And just decide that that's whatever it takes to get there, that's what you're going to do. And just keep your eyes focused. Put on those little blinders. Don't look at anybody around you. Just focus on you and be the best you that you can be. All right, thank you for watching and have a very blessed day.